my guest today, we have Scott Snow. And Scott is, welcome Scott.
Thank you.
He's an entrepreneur who started time management coaching. Well, this is basically his poster. This is the book, the title of the book, tell us what it is again.
All the Hats We Wear,
Yeah.
The Creative Entrepreneur's Time Management System.
Awesome. Now I'm going to show you. I have the book right here with me. And boy, did I peruse this, especially last night. I said, I got to go through that again. This is, well, it looks like, well, a workbook. It's a workbook.
Right.
It's a workbook, and I thought it had kind of a neat little, if you go to see a counselor for therapy, it had kind of that feeling to it. And I'm thinking, no, he's just a businessman. No wonder. No, I picked right up on that.
Right.
And this page, table of contents, he goes through skill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You start with get inspired. Tell us what that is.
Well, I figured, kind of start with a bang,
Yeah.
get the momentum going.
Your passions.
Right, and that's why I have people list their passions, hobbies, and interests. And a lot of the exercises and insights that you'll get from the book are really based on taking a step back from your busy life. We're always so busy in our life that we have seldom time to actually have any insight of all the moving pieces.
Oh, definitely. Identify and manage your roles. This was tough for me. Roles?
Right.
I don't know how to. Am I unusual? I can't figure out which role.
Right. Well, I start to think of a role being just an area in your life that you need to spend time in on a regular basis.
I guess I'm still a mother, but I raised a child, married. I've done different things. Does it include what you've done for work as a role?
Sure. Yeah. Everything, all the different hats that you wear would be included in that. Would you mention yourself as being a personal business connector?
Yeah,
right? I love that term.
And a publicist too. Yeah, definitely. Promoter.
So, and this book helps you to identify those different roles that you play, and then also there's a whole bunch of different exercises to do that help more clarify those different roles. One important thing might be if you have roles that are very conflicting, each role we have different attributes that make us successful in that role.
Yeah.
So we're different at home and work and all these different roles that we play. And the example I give in the book is of a Marine drill sergeant, let's say, that's doing their job, very successful, being intimidating and the highest standards possible and no let up and that sort of thing. And of course, those would make that man or woman very successful in that job, but if they go home to a young child or something, those attributes are not going to be very fitting. And a lot of times we do have that trouble. If we're going from one role to the next, we're not making any kind of a switch, and that causes a lot of friction.
So like a CEO in a company, a high-tech company, comes home and he's cracking the whip at home.
Right.
He has little kids, and the wife, not so much,
Right. So being able to identify, and I really think that all self-awareness, self-development, begins with an increase in awareness. So being able to make the conscious choice now to say, all right, now I'm switching gears, I'm driving home, I'm not walking into the same kind of arena that I just left, and to be able, the book helps people walk through creating their own routine.
It's hard. Sometimes, especially if your office is at home,
right?
It is difficult. Your computer's in there, and all this stuff, and it's like, it's hard to avoid it because it's like drives you like a magnet. I've got to check again. I've got to check and see who's on. Now I've got to answer this person and that. So you teach person how to disconnect. You teach them how to manage their time. You're going to do it this time and this and this.
Well, even for identifying the roles, I have 3 different categories of roles. And the first is a you role, which is like mind, body, spirit. Like, what roles do you have as a person? Not about being a mother or a partner or sister or anything like that, but as a person. And to be able to do that first, the biggest thing I find in some of my coaching clients is that an inability to be able to focus on their own needs and self-care part.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you should focus on yourself and schedule a weekend spa in place of your child's graduation party or something. I'm saying that the more that you can take care of yourself, the more you can bring about to other people.
Well, it's helping a lot of people, and I've seen it in my own family, the caretaker thing, where they're so busy caring for others that their health is going down the toilet. That's not good.
Right.
And it's hard to catch because I think you get into this pattern. and you're so revved up.
Right.
I got to do this. She's got to make sure I've got this for her and this for him.
Mm-hmm.
I saw my father take care of my mother, and my God, in the kitchen, he had a whole, like a doctor or a nurse. He had everything timed, all her medicine. He'd had everything written out like a script.
Mm-hmm.
And he burned out.
Yeah, that's another reason why people are turning to coaches, having a personal coach.
Exactly.
Because you know in that whatever hour a week or half hour a week that coach is going to be completely dedicated to you, you can shut everything else off and start to think about some of the big questions in your life.
Scott, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, through my website, timemanagementguy.com, or you can email me at scott@timemanagementguy.com. And I'm actually running a discounted special now for new clients for coaching, and that would be a half hour a week on the phone coaching for $50. And that would be a great time for you to be able to just focus on the big questions that you have, to be able to clarify some exciting goals that you would have for your life, and then to help put in that process to achieve those. And I can help with that.
Sounds like a plan for an awful lot of people. And
Right.
So now you have in skill 3, this is create a mission statement.
Right.
Not always easy.
Yes. Well, once you create those different roles that you have,
Yeah.
that stuff, see, it is sort of progressive in that sense. You have to get and this will also change over time. You're going to be constantly revising, and every year you're going to take on different new roles, especially as an entrepreneur or someone even that runs a busy family. You know, you're going to have skills that you're going to take on. I'm learning that I have to learn about soccer because I might, volunteer to be an assistant coach for the team. And
Well, you got 2 boys.
yeah. I know
Yeah.
nothing about soccer, so.
Neither do I.
Right.
And my son still didn't care about it.
Yeah.
I took him, but
Yeah.
some kids just don't like it. I think I like a lot of them do.
Right.
But Scott has twin little boys who today was their first day of preschool.
Oh, yeah.
Did you take them, or did they go in a little van or bus, or how did they go?
No, I brought them.
You brought them. And
They
they
did
walked
pretty
right
well.
in. They didn't,
Yeah.
no problem.
No, they were pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. How about Mommy? Was she upset to see them go, or sad?
I think so, yeah.
It's tough for some mothers.
Mm-hmm.
But other mothers, was like myself, I thought, was an only child, and I thought, you know what? It's good for him. He needs to get out there, see other faces besides mine, and it's
Right.
good for me to have me time.
Right.
So for those 3 hours he's gone, I could get something, an appointment, or do something.
Right.
Mission statement, goals. They say that all the time. It's not as easy as it sounds.
Right. Well, in my system, in this whole system I've been working on perfecting for the last 2 or 3 years. And it's, I've taken a couple ideas from different time management systems, and then I started to realize almost all of my time management system, all the forms that I use for my planner are all what I put together that works best for me. And I really kind of base them on my own creativity. I'm in college, I think it started because I was big into composition,
Yeah.
music, and improvisation, and also writing short stories. So I started to look at what's the best way I can do creative projects, and that became, in step 6, the managing large projects process. But the goals for me, the 2 different categories that I have there is a distinction goal, which is really just like rules for your life. I'm going to aerobically exercise 30 minutes a day. Make it very, very clear and precise that this is easy to measure. And
But it's not always easy to do.
Right. Right.
If you're the type of person who'd rather be in front, do something mentally oriented,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard just to go out for a walk. It sounds awful, and I know I'm not alone.
All right. And then the other goal type is the deadline goal, which that's the typical, by whatever date
Yeah.
I'll have that achieved. And then also in the book it shows examples of how you could combine having a deadline goal. I think I did an example of, let's say for one of your hobbies that
Yeah.
it's chess, and
Yeah.
for whatever, by whatever date I want to have a U.S. Chess Federation rating of whatever it is, and then what can you do daily to do that?
Yeah.
And even it can be something small. It could be 2 to 3 minutes of doing the day's chess puzzle in the newspaper. Maybe once a week you play a couple games online, and you take 1 20-minute online lesson. Maybe
Yeah.
once a month you go and watch a tournament. Maybe quarterly you can participate in a tournament or something like that.
How about somebody who's on the impulsive side who just says, "Oh, well, this here's a fair, like I'm going to go to this one."
Right.
And that kind of counts too, doesn't it? A little
Yeah,
bit?
sure. I mean, you once you have that intention, and one of my favorite writers for that sort of thing is Brian Tracy, the big self-development guy, and he talks a lot about the value of having a goal written down. Just having that process of writing it down makes it a lot more real.
Well, you talk about this is near and dear to my heart. Journal writing.
Right. Well, I think this might be the only time management system out there that involves journal writing as an important element. For me, journal writing is that glue that connects everything. It's being able to keep that creative flow going because you're focusing on specific things that happen during the day, and you're expounding upon them in your journal, and you're always going into the day with that sort of positive expectation of looking for something interesting to happen.
Right. Yeah, journal writing, it's almost like a diary.
Sure.
I like it. I mean, I've written journals for a long time. You don't always do it every day, maybe, but I've seen people do them all over those. Sometimes if they're sitting in waiting places, and if a client is with you, do you ask them, have you been writing in your journal? Do you ask them that?
Yes.
What if they say no?
Right. Well, I might suggest that they might try.
Yeah.
Some people don't do it, but
what if they say I don't know what to do? I don't know what to write. I have no problem. Maybe they would.
You know what? And now you remind me of what the core of this journal writing piece in this time management system is, that it really gets the person to start thinking creatively. And what I mean with being a jazz improviser, you're constantly walking that fine line between the technique and the theory of what you're playing, and then how it feels and your aesthetic expression. So, and you can do the same thing with journal writing, and you don't have to learn how to play an instrument and scales and all that sort of thing. You're taking a thought or something that happened during the day, and then you have your natural writing skill, how you put together sentences and paragraphs, and you can work on that too.
Yeah.
And you're also going on how that feels and what it makes you feel like. So it's a perfect example. It's a perfect activity for practicing that creativity, because you're walking that line between the two, the technique and the aesthetic. And a lot of people think that you learn the technique so you can forget it.
Who do you think, well, in your travels in this new business, who comes to you the most? Business people, or just I don't know. Who comes the most to you?
The people that I've coached most would be more corporate-oriented people.
They actually put their pride in their pocket and say, "Look, I need some time management here."
Right. Well,
really?
I think it's the same for everybody. Everybody has those big questions that they want to pursue. Am I doing the right thing? What does it mean for me? Is everything aligned? That is a priority. What's missing?
So somebody can meet with you for a consultation on the phone or in person, which is...
I usually do on the phone.
On the phone.
Yeah.
I think you said half hour, $50.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
And you can go over... It's amazing what you can go over in half an hour on the phone.
Right.
It really, really is.
Well, a lot of people like to follow along with the book as well.
Yeah. Now, let me show you the book. This is, again, it's a workbook. And it's got, like, all places you fill out. So, like, if you were in school...
Yeah.
Right? And I remember I filled out some of it, the interests, your passions, and all this and that. But you know where I got messed up? It said, personal roles. I'm putting down things. I was confused. I wasn't sure. I wrote down a whole bunch of things, and I had to think about it. Is this a professional, personal? They kind of mesh.
Yeah. Well, and you're right, there is a point where it starts to get very similar.
Yeah.
For me, it's that writing role that, I like to write for journal writing, but also for my blog, so that becomes business writing, so it does sort of bridge between them. But I think of the personal roles as being just like what you would typically think of as the roles, the relationships, a mom, a daughter, whatever it is. And then also it might be philanthropic, or I'm the coach of my child's team, or things like that. I'm a hobbyist. Maybe financial wellness is one role. That basically whatever area that you really have found that you need to put time and focus on to be fulfilled overall. And then the professional obviously would be your job, your occupation, but also as being an entrepreneur, what new role do you have to take on You know, if you're starting a new business, then you're going to have to maybe look at the accounting, or you might have to learn a little bit more of web design or blog writing or networking, business know-how, those sort of things.
I love this example of completed roles. David, 54, business owner. You, spirituality, personal husband, professional writer, and then it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually gets you to organize your mind.
Sure.
Your book kind of forced me to think like, I hadn't thought about it that way. My role.
Right.
Because I think a lot of us women who have, and fathers too, we become parents and we think, well, that's our role, husband, wife, role, and we think that's the main thing in life, but it isn't, because there's so many other. I'm a friend to so-and-so,
Mm-hmm.
I work with so-and-so, I'm a volunteer, so those are different roles I'm playing, different, as you has on his different hats.
Yeah. Right.
And this hat, I was kidding Scott when he came, and I said, looks like my father was a hat's dad.
Yeah,
what
right.
did he make, Stetson hat?
I guess.
I don't know, but I remember these. Grandpa, especially my dad, had one of these kind. Yeah.
Right.
I don't see them so much anymore. So what made you think of that one for the cover?
I've got a friend who does some graphic design, and he sort of came up with that.
He did that. So
Well, it's from Pixel. What is the website? Fallingpixel.com. That's where he got the hat logo, but
Right.
we got permission to make it into a cover. So,
do you have any more of these coming along?
any more?
Books?
Well, no, really. I'm focused on that one.
Yeah.
And actually, this book is available on my website, timemanagementguy.com, for free. It's a PDF that you can just download, and I wanted it to be available to everybody to look through. And I found the biggest challenge with this book is that it really does take some hard work and a lot of deep thinking to go through some of these exercises, and that's, it's going to take. It might take a coach to help you get through some of those times and be able to dedicate that deep thinking time to focus on these things, but it will be worth it.
So it's Time Management Guy, GUI?
Right.
.com.
Right. Time Management Guy.
It's pretty easy to remember. TimeManagementGuy.com.
And actually, the final chapter is all of the forms that you would need to follow the system, and you don't have to follow the system precisely. It could be a guide that you maybe use a couple of the ideas and implement.
When you were thinking of creating this great service that you provide, did you have an inkling all along you might want to do this, or did it just kind of hit you one day like, I've got to do this, I've got to do it?
I think the big deciding point for me was there's a book called Time of Your Life by Tony Robbins.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
And it's a time management system, and it's a audio cassette. It's a 14 CD set or something like that, but he's the first person that I really found that talked a lot about roles and life roles. And he does it in a different way, but I really love the way that he focused on that. And it became a real passion for me of people's roles, and thinking that someone and then find out they're so passionate about whatever, the Three Stooges or gardening or fishing.
Yeah. I have a friend who's a car mechanic. He's professional. He's been there like for 40 years. What was he like? South Park,
right.
the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
It becomes our identity, all these different hats that we wear. And even if you read in obituaries, this person was a dad, a grandfather, a baseball coach, a scientist, And I think we take pride in being able to say that we're all these different things. Even you see on Twitter profiles and Facebook, I'm a blank, I'm a this and that. So I think that's definitely the underlying theme for this book, is to identify those roles and then to manage them. And the book goes through first identifying the roles and then doing a mission statement for each one, where you would connect emotionally with that role. And I even have those taped in my car of me reading through, and I can connect in 5 minutes. I can connect with all those important roles.
You know what I
as
can
I'm
think
driving.
too would be good is people with mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe people new in recovery, especially from addiction. This sort of, they teach people to keep the focus, keep yourself focused.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a form of meditation, what you're doing. Mind meditation.
Well, thank you.
Bringing people in to focus on themselves, what their goals are, what their roles are, not to rhyme here, but it strikes me as something that it helps not just people in business, but people who are maybe recovering from, as I say, they're in cancer remission or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Time management, busy mothers.
Right. Well, an inspiration of this book was, it's called the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. And that's a workbook similar, a lot of write-in things. And that I first saw when I was in my internship for music therapy at Westboro State Psychiatric Hospital.
Oh, is it still up and running, or is that...
No.
I know they've got the brand new Worcester one now.
Right, yeah, I think a lot of the
folks... Do you go over there at all to help out?
No.
Boy, I bet they would love to have you.
Right. But that's sort of the a model that I use, and that's like a workbook. And I wanted it to be, I didn't want it just to be me blabbing and blabbing. Some of the books I pick up, it's 300 pages, and I don't have the time to do all that. But something that people can dig right in and fill in their own responses is what I really wanted. And that's what they did there. And that was more to help people like with addiction or with mental illness, to be able to have a plan. If I get a trigger, then I can do this or that and that, and talk about those resources.
Did you work right with them, Scott?
Yep, doing music therapy groups. In fact, my case study was on improvisational drumming group with people with schizophrenia.
Oh my gosh.
So there we were using the drumming group
Yeah.
as that structure to help people work on whatever specific goals they had at the hospital.
And they could get out there, you can get out your feelings. I like drumming. I mean, I took a few lessons, okay, but as an adult.
Right.
But,
well, it was a lot on being, reality-centered, trying to focus on we're doing one activity together, we're here and now, and, maybe someone would start the groove, and people would just listen and follow that leader, and then when the leader stopped, everybody would stop, and then that leader got to title the piece, that improvisation.
And you thought of this on your own?
No, that was the template that Kevin Kervanik, my supervisor, had in place there with the improvisational drumming group.
We're visiting with Scott Fry, and Scott has a wonderful, his own business. He's an entrepreneur, time management coach, and anybody is welcome.
It's Scott Snow. I think you said Scott Fry.
Scott Snow. Yeah, you know what, Fry? The gal right before you, her last name was Fry. So I had it right here next to yours, Scott. No, but Scott is from Charlton, and which is not that far from this area. How far will you go to meet with a client?
Well, like I say, usually it's over the phone.
Yeah.
So really, that takes care of that. I mean, it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
But
so you're all set on that. Doesn't bother you at all.
Well, what I'm trying to do is do more online. Create some teleclasses, or maybe even take this book and make an e-course out of it. That's something I'd like to do.
Do you give presentations at companies or at... You do?
Yep.
Libraries would be a great place.
Yep, I've done some of those.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you find it tough to get yourself programmed to get out there and scheduled?
Well, I've done a couple library ones, and it's just tricky to get people to come, depending on what part of the season and that sort of thing. But, like I said, it is a commitment to go through this book and to try it. It really seems like the model seems like you kind of need a coach. You need some
definitely
to help you just even be able to schedule that time to get in and do the deep thinking that's required just for creating really great goals.
You can walk them through it.
Right. What do you really want to get? And
how long do they stay with you usually? Is it up to them or you or?
It's up to them.
Okay.
Some people need a check-in and they get what they want, and some people, usually with the life coaching course that I took, they recommended having people make a 3-month commitment. But I found that, I really think I can even work with someone for a half hour and get them to be at least a little bit more organized and untangled and clear thinking.
Scott Snow, tell them once again how they can reach you.
Okay, you can reach me at my website, timemanagementguy.com, and you can email me through there as well. And I do have a discounted rate of $50 for a 30-minute individual session over the phone. And the book, All the Hats We Wear, the Creative Entrepreneur's Time Management System, is available for free on that website. So download the book, check it out. You can also email me to be on the email list, and you can hear about the upcoming products that will be coming out. And also, I'll probably get this book on Kindle and Amazon within the next couple of weeks as well. So
you're gonna cave. You're gonna put it on that doggone thing you hold and go like this. You couldn't hire me. I'd much rather have. But we talk about this all the time. I'd much rather. I just can't get into that. I think, of course, the kids are being raised on it.
Right.
But I think a lot of people. I don't think books are going to go out of style too soon.
Do you listen to books on tape?
No, I want to read them.
Okay,
I
you're
want
a
to be
reader.
able to underline, like with yours, I want to be able to underline. I mean,
Yeah.
I get so many books from authors, and I've got to be able to zero in on them. Thank you, Scott Stowe, for coming.
Well, thanks for having me. This is
You're
great
welcome.
that you do this as well.
See you next time. I'll be my guest.